Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got some incredible League of Legends Magic cards for you. Some custom cards from the amazing folks over at Custom Dragon Highlander. What an awesome competition. Again, thank you Alno, thank you Crumble Butter, and if you are interested in joining the amazing community at Custom Dragon Highlander, make sure you check out that link to the Discord in the description below. Now with that said, let's jump into it. Starting things off at 10th place from Mirjoy, we've got, and my apologies for any mispronunciations on any of the names. I am not a League of Legends player, and I do not watch the show either. So, Sheetakan? Sheetakan, there we go. Ambitious Yanlei, there we go. 2/2 Human Assassin with Skulk for 3 mana. Sorry, 2 mana actually, because you know what? This is in Grixis, but it does have a split cost right there for blue or red. Easier to cast, I should say. Skulk, when it deals combat damage to a player, you get an experience counter. By paying one of those is it symbols, you transform it, and you may flip it. Activate only if you have 3 or more experience counters, and it flips over into... Here we go, this is spicy. Kayn, Shadow Reaper, a 1/4 with Shadow that says whenever it attacks it isn't blocked, it gets +X/+0 until out of turn. Rex equal to the number of experience counters you have, and that flips over into Rashta, Darkened Scythe, Lifelink. When it blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +0/+X until out of turn, where X equal to the number of experience counters you have. This is what Mirjoy had to say about the design. Plenty of options for a League of Legends design commander. However, with Kayn, I found an excuse to create a 3-sided card. Kayn in-game starts weak, but goes through combat increased experience counters to transform into either an assassin or Rast as a team fighter. This commander is inspired by original Kamigawa's flip mechanic, an intuitive way to choose from what he takes until Kayn leaves play. I picture running proliferation effects to take advantage of the experience counters to close with a near unblockable creature, or help with blocking in order to stabilize. Well, Mirjoy, my goodness, this is spicy. I absolutely love that we have the option for a 3-sided commander. A very cool concept, and I love the way that you execute it with this type of a commander. Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool options. Proliferation absolutely is a good way to go about it by making a nearly unblockable with Shadow attacker, or again, a very, very good defensive creature as well. A really, really cool design. Congratulations again, Mirjoy, on your 10th place finish. Next up from Boros, we've got 9th place, Caitlyn Flawless Sniper, a 1/4 Human Noble Detective for 4 mana in Marty with Vigilance and Reach. Whenever an attacking creature an opponent controls dies, if it was dealt damage by a creature you control this turn, investigate. By tapping, Caitlyn deals damage to target creature with that creature's toughness. And this is what Boros had to say about the design. I was a huge fan of the show Arcane. Of the many amazing characters, Caitlyn's prowess as a marksman seemed the most fun to translate into a Magic card. I imagine the deck would be focused around focusing attacks, controlling creature board states, and utilizing archer effects like Brigade, Hero of Kinsblade to trigger your commander's ability. Include Death Matters, triggers effects, artifact pingers, and more machine gun down your pop position. Your opponents better have their hexproof up because this sharpshooter doesn't miss. Well, most definitely. If they don't have some kind of protection, they are getting taken out by this sniper. This is a really cool design. I absolutely love that you say, hey, opponents, those attacking creatures get taken out. Yeah, I get some value out of it. I get to take them out. Obviously, Death Touch can be a great thing to bring into this as well. A lot of other Tims, a lot of other pingers can be very effective too. I was thinking Goblin Sharpshooter as well, would be pretty funny too. But yeah, being able to utilize a lot of those types of effects, maybe some goading effects as well to force attacks too. And maybe, yeah, just some encouraging opponents to maybe attack each other and maybe make some deals where you can. But yeah, this is a very cool design. One where, yeah, lifelink could be introduced as well and have some good effects of gaining some life. But yeah, a very cool commander with a lot of cool possibilities. Again, congratulations on your 9th place finish for us. But now let's move on to 8th place from King Roni. We've got Veigar, Villain, a 1/2 halfling wizard for 2 mana, again in Grixis. Tiny Terror. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less, put a counter on Veigar, we villain. Primordial Burst. By paying 3 mana and it deals damage to target creature or player equal to its power. Activate only once each turn and only as a sorcery. So this is what King Roni had to say about the design. I bounced around all sorts of ideas for a champion, but ultimately settled on the champ I was introduced to first, Veigar. Veigar is a silly little creature of undisputed evil, and your table ought to learn quick. His game plan in the game is pretty straightforward, getting stacks with your little buttons to build up the Champ Deleter 9000 on your Primordial Burst. So I decided to mimic that idea by making a Spellslinger commander all about cantrips and cheap tiny spells. Colors and mechanics are pretty straightforward. Grixis is the iconic evil wizard colors. I agree. Furthermore, it's no stranger to slinging spells good. And yes, he is evil. Stop laughing. Yeah, Veigar, we villain, is adorable, number 1. Number 2, terrifying in what it can do. And number 3, yeah, I agree with the evil wizard colors. That is most definitely Grixis. So yeah, being able to go, okay, Spellslinger, tiny spells only with the tiny commander. Being able to cast a lot of those, get a lot of counters on this. Obviously, proliferation, other kinds of pump effects can help as well. Power doubling effects can really help you too. And then, yes, being able to go, hey, you know what? At a certain point, we've reached the conclusion of this game. I will activate, I will wipe out an opponent, and my other opponents will be staring at the ashes of that opponent blowing in the wind, metaphorically speaking, of course, and all of a sudden be terrified that they are then next from this commander. All while maybe I had, I don't know, some lifelink on the commander as well to gain a ton of life too, because Veigar is the one that's dealing damage. Yeah, it seems like a ton of fun. Congratulations again on your 8th place finish, King Roni. Next up, though, we're moving on to 7th place from Michelangelo. Michelangelo? Yeah, nice. This is going to be Ekko Firelight Champion, a 3/4 human rogue for 5 mana and Teamer with first strike when it phases in, and there's additional beginning phase after this phase. Well, that's fun. The beginning phase, of course, includes the untap, upkeep, and draw steps. By paying 5, if Ekko Firelight Champion would die this turn, it phases out instead. Phase in at the beginning of your next end step, tap with a stun counter on it. Very cool design. And this is what Michelangelo had to say about the design. I love Ekko's theme and power set, especially in Arcane. I wanted to make a sort of reset button commander without getting too complicated. His whole thing is that he bails himself out of trouble with time magic, so I was thinking suspender phasing, and the latter seemed more fun to work with. What I came up with was this, giving the player a sort of soft reset if he would die. You can make him all about phasing, you can lean into extra upkeep triggers, or just make him attack with a built-in evasive option. I love commanders that give you a lot of options to play with, and I think Ekko accomplishes that. Well, I most definitely agree with that, Michelangelo. This is an amazing design, and yeah, being able to utilize phasing on a commander I think is very spicy, and it's a very spicy way to do it. I like that soft reset button, okay, this commander is going to be coming back. It might take some time to get there, but it does come back. And then also, hey, get extra value out of that. So yeah, ways to utilize, ways to use and abuse additional beginning phase triggers. You can have a lot of fun with that. A very cool design, especially in Teamer. I think this is a very unique commander that definitely stands out. Yeah, it is a very, very, very spicy commander. Congratulations again, Michelangelo, on your 7th place finish. But now we're moving on to 6th place from Crumble Butter. We've got Shaco, I'm not sure. Demon Jester, my apologies everyone out there who knows how to pronounce that properly. Shaco, I'm going to go with a 1/2 Demon Clown for 3 mana in Grixis, First Strike, and Wither. If you would create one or more creature tokens, if you don't control another creature named Shaco Demon Jester, create a tokens copy of this creature instead, except it isn't legendary. If this creature be destroyed, you may sacrifice another creature control named Shaco Demon Jester. Instead, if you remove all damage from this creature, when this creature dies, deals damage equal to its power to any target. And this is what Crumble Butter had to say about the design. Turns out I chose to make a card for the guy with the least lore in the game, so we are going off vibes here. Spooky clown vibes. As anyone that has played against Shaco, especially in the early days, will know, he's a little doo-doo head that tries to trick you into killing his clone all the time. I tried to take that forward here, giving him clones that act as booby traps and allowing him to hide behind them to avoid death. Overall, I'm happy with how he turned out. although the ease of comboing off might need testing. I think I've also accurately copied how annoying Shaco is to play against from the league, since this would be a nightmare to get rid of once it gets going. Well, Crumble Butter, I most definitely agree with that. That would be quite the deck built around this. That would be quite the situation for opponents to try to navigate. A very cool concept of a commander that makes copies of itself that then, well, can just basically be sacrificed to stop itself from getting taken out as well. On top of the mass amount of damage that this can actually deal out once you set up properly too, once it takes out. So yeah, being able to build around this, I think, would be, well, a very cool concept. Congratulations on your 6th place finish. Crumble Butter, well deserved. Next up from Dare Moon, at 5th place, we've got Kled, Mounted Admiral, a 3-2 Beast Berserker for 3 mana in red. Partner with Scarl, a Cowardly Steed with Menace. Kled attacks each combat Fable. Whenever Kled crews or saddles another permanent, you may pay red. If you do untap Kled, it gets +2/+1 until end of turn. And on the other side, we've got Scarl, Cowardly Steed. So this is actually an Izzet commander, a 2-2 Lizard Mount Coward for 2 mana in blue. Of course, partners with Kled. Vigilance. Whenever Scarl attacks, if it's saddled, it can't be blocked this turn. Otherwise, return Scarl to its owner's hand, then draw a card, and it's got saddled too. And this is what Dare Moon had to say about the design. My inspiration for the design was how these characters work better overall together, and also came from a custom precon I'm currently working on about Noxus, which was Grixis. I went with Kled because who doesn't love Kled, and chose to go red for Kled for obvious reasons and blue for Scarl, as it, even as it is a coward, must have the knowledge to know when one is outclassed. I also felt like Fled the Battlefield worked more mechanically within blue. I expect the deck to be played around a ton of vehicles and mounts alongside ETB LTB synergy, but truly it is variable and can go in a lot of ways, which is something I always enjoy. Well, I think this is absolutely, well, adorable, number one. Number two, a really cool concept, being able to have, well, the two sides of creatures. One wants to attack, one doesn't want to attack, but together they work best. So yeah, having a lot of different options on directions you can go with this. I like the design a lot. Congratulations on your 5th place finish, Dare Moon. Next up, 4th place, we've got from Ashabelinar 24, Samira the Desert Rose, a 3-2 mercenary for 4 mana in red. Beginning of your upkeep, create treasure token, and then sacrifice a treasure. It gets ++1 until end of turn. If this is the 5th time this ability has resolved this turn, you double Samira's power and it gains trample until end of turn. This is what Ashabelinar 24 had to say about the design. Samira is one of those champions that many people either love or hate, and I want to take a look at how I can make them fun. Her abilities are based on her in-game abilities, but to work in Magic. Granted, though, I wanted to make a gold token. I feel treasures make more sense. I also wanted to make a fun mono-red aggro card, as in-game Samira starts off slow, but then ranks up to 11. I love the idea of making her double her power, but only once, so she is basically an 16/7 that hits with trample, but is also fun to play. I really enjoyed making this card, and I hope others like it. Well, absolutely, it is a really cool design. I love that, yes, you do get those treasures, but you are incentivized very heavily to go, hey, you know what? Let's sacrifice some, and let's just hit absurdly hard. Again, by sacrificing 5 treasures, my goodness, we get to double things up to an absurd amount. Again, a 16 power commander with trample. That is terrifying, that is scary, and of course, things can only get worse for your opponents as well. You introduce double strike in there, other ways to double power. It's going to be a one-shot KO quite easily on anyone. A really cool concept for a commander, a really cool way to utilize treasures, absolutely. Congratulations on your 4th place finish, Ashabelinar 24. Next up, moving on to 3rd place from Jerry42, we've got Volibear Thunder's Roar, a 6/6 bear demigod for 6 mana in Gruul. It's got Riot, so again, it's going to enter with a choice of ++1 or Haste. It's got Trample as well. When it attacks, we choose 1. 4 damage to our creature, excess damage is dealt by creature controller instead, or we draw a card, play additional land this turn. This is what Jerry42 had to say about the design. I have thoughts that Volibear looked like a ruthless and cool character. Because of this challenge, I actually started looking into lore about League of Legends, which was fun. For the design, I wanted to make him in line with something like Rourke Thar, but more like a Voltron focus. In giving the player some card advantage, I also knew I just had to include the keyword Riot, as homage to the studio that makes League of Legends, And I also look forward to playtesting this card. Yeah, very cool. I love the actual, that's a very meta thing to kind of bring back Riot in there too, in a way that makes sense with a commander as well. Yeah, a keyword that we don't see too often. I think it makes complete sense on this one. Either be super aggressive with that haste, or sure, just some extra power there as well. Being able to get that value out of that, though, being able to take out creatures, being able to kind of trample over with that damage too, being able to get some card advantage, get some lands in play, just a beast of a commander. I absolutely love the design. I think a really cool deck can be built around it. Congratulations, Jerry42, on your third place finish. Next up, though, we're moving on to second place from Mongo Like Candy 1987. We've got Sion the Undead Judgment, a 4/4 zombie juggernaut with First Strike and Menace for 5 mana in Jund. Whenever it deals combat damage, regular damage, not combat damage. Do keep that in mind because that is important. To a creature, put a counter on this creature. +1 counters remain on Sion as it moves from any zone of the player's hand or library. When it dies, returns to the battlefield transformed, and it flips over into Sion Frenzy Death Surge, a 6/0 zombie juggernaut with First Strike, Lifelink, and Menace. Attacks each turn if able. Beginning of your end step, remove a counter from Sion. If damage will be dealt to Sion, if it has a counter on it, prevent that damage, remove a counter from it. And this is what Mongo Like Candy 1987 had to say about the design. The idea came from my favorite cards, such as Spiritmonger, Skullbriar, and Crush the Blood-Braided, trying to meld aspects of all of them into one gigantic monster. I chose Sion because he was, by and large, my favorite champion league, so I felt like I had to give a big oaf his dues. The idea of getting counters and keeping them as he changes zones stems from his in-game Infinity Scalping HP pool, which was the goal of the entire design, trying to emulate and what I wanted to put in this card from. I see Sion being played at the helm of an aggressive fight-themed deck, where you would abuse his +1 counters, counter gains, spells that I would include were be like Chandra's Ignition and maybe Fling or other sack outlets to force him into his backside. Absolutely a very cool design, and yeah, I definitely thought about Spiritmonger as well and Skullbriar when I saw this commander. A very cool concept, being able to absolutely make it absolutely massive, flip it when you need to flip it, and utilize, again, those big damage dealing effects based on its own power. A very cool melding of some very cool concepts. Congratulations again on your second place finish, Mongo Like Candy 1987. Finally, though, the moment that you've all been waiting for. In first place from Fellas, we've got Azir, Emperor of Sand, a 1/5 god for 4 mana, every single color but blue. Arise. If one or more creature tokens that we created under your control, that many 1/1 color sand creature tokens are created instead. Sand creatures you control get +2/+2 and have First Strike, and by paying 1, you exile a creature card from your graveyard to create a 1/1 white sphere creature token. This is what Fellas had to say about the design. Azir was designed primarily around the Dune Brood Nephilim. Due to their shared similarities in manifesting sand guys, I wanted a way to make him strong, and so Azir was born. Everything else was done in flavor's sake. I wanted to make him make sand guys, but I also wanted to have it show him calling these spirits of fallen soldiers into the sands. I settled for letting him make his own sands, exiling fallen soldiers to make a spirit that instantly becomes a sand, when you could make a wall of sand guys with stuff like Illustrious Wonderglyph or Tendershoot Dryad or, God forbid, Empty the Warrens. Yep, I've found that mobilized creatures like Dalkovin Pack Beasts are a lot more fun. Yeah, this is a really cool concept. I like the idea of a commander that, again, doesn't say, hey, you know what, let's just get extra tokens. So this is one that says, let's just change them into something else. And by changing them into sand creatures, they are quite formidable. Again, 3/3s with First Strike. And of course, be able to make any creatures out of your graveyard into those as well. That can be quite effective. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to make a lot of tokens out there. A lot of ways to make a very effective army around this. And a really cool color combination. And definitely, again, yeah, those vibes of the old Nephilim too. So yeah, a really cool concept. Again, an amazing design. Congratulations on your first place finish, Fellas. Again, a massive thank you to all the amazing folks over at Custom Dragon Highlander. Thank you for putting these cards together, putting this contest together, putting the votes together to get the results for this contest as well. If you are interested in joining this amazing community, make sure you check out that Discord invite link in the description below. And with that, this episode is come to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you.
If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.